Hi guys, welcome to this episode of I Wanna Eat. Today we're going to be making oven roasted beef ribs with a homemade spice rub. Here you can see the beef ribs we're using. These ribs are usually sold as a whole slab, but I trimmed off some of the excess fat and then separated the ribs with a knife. So now let's make our spice rub. We're going to start with our dry ingredients. First is about 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. Next up is about 2 tablespoons of garlic powder. Then 2 tablespoons of chili powder. About 1 tablespoon of paprika. 1 teaspoon of dried thyme. 1 teaspoon of dried oregano. About a teaspoon of black pepper. And a few big pinches of salt, maybe around a teaspoon. That's it for our dry ingredients. So now let's add our wet ingredients. We'll add about 2 teaspoons of honey. This will help the spice rub stick to the meat while cooking. Then about 1 teaspoon of soy sauce. 1 teaspoon of a hot sauce of your choice. 1 teaspoon of hoisin sauce, and about a tablespoon of sambal chili garlic paste, though you can also use sriracha if you prefer. Now, preheat your oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit, about 150 degrees Celsius. Now, let's whisk our ingredients together. We want a smooth paste, so add a bit more honey if the rub is too clumpy or too dry. Here you can see the consistency we want. This will make it easier to rub onto and stick to the meat while cooking. Now we're going to rub the seasonings into the meat. Try to cover the entire surface, making sure to get the top, the bottom, and both edges. You want to make sure to really massage the seasonings into the meat. You can also leave them overnight to sit and marinate, but they're good if you cook them now too. Again, make sure to get all the sides, get into every nook and cranny. We want the seasoning to be really well distributed. We're going to be using only half of our spice mixture here, so reserve the rest for now. We'll be rubbing it into the meat again a little later. Now that the meat is seasoned, we're going to cover our pan with a tent of aluminum foil. Make sure to pinch and raise the center of the foil to create a tent shape. This tent will prevent steam from the cooking process condensing and dripping down back onto the meat. Then crimp the foil around the sides of the pan to make it airtight. Now let's put our ribs into the oven and set a timer for 90 minutes. Now, while waiting for the ribs to cook, give your dog a few belly rubs to kill some time. Now, it's been about 90 minutes, so we'll take the ribs out of the oven and then take the foil off. Make sure to watch out for steam burns while doing this. At this point, the meat is cooked through and tender, so we're going to brush the remaining spice mixture that we set aside earlier onto the meat, making sure to coat the entire surface evenly. Now, we'll turn up the heat in the oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit, about 220 degrees Celsius, and put the ribs in the oven again for 15 minutes. Make sure to drain the excess oil in the bottom of the pan before putting the ribs back in the oven, or else it will begin to smoke. Now, 15 minutes later, our ribs are done, so let's take them out of the oven. This second roasting at a higher temperature is to caramelize the sugar in our spice mixture, which creates a beautiful crispy crust on the outside while leaving the inside tender. And we'll get a little bit of a cross section here. Though we have a beautiful crust on the outside, the inside is extremely tender and very moist. We're serving the ribs with cornbread muffins, the recipe for which will be posted very soon, so keep an eye out for that. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of I Wanna Eat. If you found yourself enjoying this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting what recipes you want to see. We're a new YouTube channel, so it really helps us out. And we upload weekly, so we hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.